A couple of people have contacted me to ask what the differences are between the LCT140 and the LCT340, and the reason being they can't get hold of the LCT340 anymore because it's been discontinued. So I thought I'd make this video for those two people, and then the rest of you, if you want to see it, that's great. Now, first of all, the differences are in size. One is smaller than the other. This is the 140, this is the 340. There's also a difference with the what's offered on each one. So for instance, on this one there's an 80 hertz cut as a high pass filter. On the 340 it's at where is it? It's at different places. I have to put my glasses on to read it. So it's at 40, 150 and 300 hertz. It's also got the -6 dB pad, a -12 and a -18 dB pad. The biggest difference is that this one has what's they call an air switch. They're both cardioids. They both sound kind of similar, and I did say if you can't get the 340, the 140 might be a good replacement, so we'll see. So I'm going to test them out. This is the sound of the LCT340 from the front being spoken directly across. I won't speak into it because these microphones can be quite sensitive to plosives and air, so it's not a good idea to speak straight into them. They're not designed for that anyway. I wouldn't normally use these microphones outdoors, but seeing that the 340 has got such a high sort of level of bass cut or a high pass filter at 300 hertz, it actually can be used outdoors with a good cover on the front. So that's the sound of this microphone from the front. This is the LCT140 Air flat, so this is now set at flat frequency response, and this is the sound that you would get from the microphone held fairly close, and there are no bass cuts, nothing put in. This is the basic sound of the microphone. Now the 140 Air doesn't have all the bass cuts that the 340 has. It just has one bass cut, and that's at 80 hertz. This is the sound of the LCT140 Air with the air pad switched in, and basically what that air pad is it just raises the treble almost like a shelf at the top there. They say it adds more air. Basically, it's a treble boost. So if you have a sibilant voice, I'll be very careful of using this because it does add quite a bit of sibilance if you've got a sibilant type voice. One of those voices that's got a lot of t's in it. So that's the sound of it with its air boost. This is the sound of the LCT340 with a 40 hertz cut. The useful thing about a 40 hertz cut is that it's good for cutting out perhaps room reverberation, that kind of thing, which can happen down in the bass frequencies. It shouldn't really be touching my voice at all. So that's the sound with a 40 hertz cut. This is the sound of the LCT340 with a 150 hertz cut. Once you get to about 100, 150, it might start to cut into the bass regions of the voice. So here, depending on the reverberation, I would use 150 because it doesn't really impact that much on your voice, and it will cut out some reverberation. Also, if you're going to use it outdoors and there's a bit of wind, I think I would be using at least 150. So this is the sound with 150 hertz cut. This might be the useful one with the LCT340. This is a 300 hertz cut, and this is the one that I would probably use if it was windy, because you've got more chance of losing the wind sounds by using this cut outdoors. It's going to probably impact on my voice at the lower region. Certainly it's going to impact on the reverberation in this room, but with that cut, quite useful outdoors. This is the sound of the LCT140 Air with an 80 hertz bass cut or a high pass filter switched in. In this mode, it's a nice one because it's just sort of halfway in the middle between the 40 and the 150 of the LCT340 microphone. The LCT doesn't offer 80, it only offers 40 and 150. It's quite a jump, but this one is stuck at 80, and that's it, that's what you get. This is the sound of the LCT140 Air with the boost in the air boost, the treble boost, and also an 80 hertz cut. I wouldn't imagine there's a massive difference in sound because 80 hertz really isn't going to cut into my voice that deeply. So that's the sound with the bass cut. So for the two people who wrote to me, there you have it. That's the difference in sound between the LCT140 and the LCT340. If you can still get a 340, it might be useful. That's a very, very good microphone, and you can probably hear it's got just a little bit more body, a little bit more bass end. It's a shame it's not still around, because really that was a much better mic. In my opinion, it's a better mic than the 140, but then you do pay for that as well. But now the 140 is their top of the range pencil mic at the moment. I'm just hoping that perhaps they might pull out another one soon. It'd be nice if they did. So I hope this was useful to you, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers for now.